the Night Kitchen. I'm your host, Josh Urban, and we're here to talk about space and astronomy in an entertaining way, combining science, storytelling, and old-time radio. This episode is brought to you in partnership with the Maryland State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled. Sit back and enjoy. Along the edge of the forest, a single porch light burns in the darkness. A hush has fallen over the land, except for the crickets and the lonely sound of a train in the distance. Still not sure if this is the house you were told about, you ring the bell. An energetic man bounds to the door and warmly invites you into the Night Kitchen.
Hey, come on in, the others are waiting.
The quirky group looks up and waves you to a chair at the rustic wood table. You sit down, and the man begins. Hey everybody, welcome to the Night Kitchen. Tonight, we're talking about travel. It's always a good time to go to the tropics. I mean, the skies are nice there.
Yeah, man.
But what if you wanted to go a bit farther, say, to the moon, or to another planet?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nifty to visit the Great Red Spot on Jupiter? You know, that giant hurricane that could swallow the whole Earth and come back for more? Perhaps, for the ultimate destination, we could go to another star and see if there's any exoplanets. That is, worlds orbiting around a star other than our own sun.
Right.
Or maybe even another galaxy.
Far, far away.
But how long would it take? How far is it?
Oh,
And could we ever get there?
maybe.
Space Shore is a big place, and in fact it's so big it's hard to even imagine. But that shouldn't stop us from trying.
Right.
Actually, it's one of my favorite things to think about.
Really?
And if we ever hope to travel to the stars, it's a good thing to learn about. I've cooked up a little idea that makes more sense to my brain, and hopefully it does to yours too. But first, let's get situated. Astronomers use a few common units of measurement. Miles, we already know what those are, and it takes me about 20 minutes to walk a mile on a nice leisurely stroll.
Slow poke.
Astronomical units, or AUs, are next. One AU is about 93 million miles. Now this seems like a weird number, but it's the distance from the Earth to the Sun, so it's pretty important to us Earthlings.
Makes sense.
And how they figured that out is a way cool story, but we'll talk about that on another episode. The most common measurement you'll hear is a light year. This is just what it sounds like. The distance light travels in 1 year. Given that light can zip around the Earth, about 7 times in 1 second? This is really far. 5.88 trillion miles.
Ooh.
Then there's a parsec, which is 3.26 light years, or 206,265 AUs. And all these are commonly used by professional astronomers. We're going to start with light years.
Okay.
And you'll hear about this a lot in the news. Breaking news! They found a planet orbiting a nearby star only 26 light years away. And back to you, Josh. Oh, cool! We gotta phone up Elon Musk. Fire up the rocket ship. Let's go visit, right? Well, not exactly. Light goes a lot faster than any rocket,
True, true.
but it's still hard to imagine.
Right.
So let's break it down into a way that's everyday.
Okay.
Something that makes sense. So, put on your thinking caps for a second, and what if we had a giant space highway and we could drive a special space tour bus to where we wanted to go?
All right.
Yeah, it would cost $1 bazillion in concrete, it wouldn't work with orbits, and the traffic ticket fines would be astronomical. Pardon the pun. But this is what's called a thought experiment. It doesn't have to be entirely practical to be useful, sort of like my great uncle Jimmy. So if we all piled in our space tour bus, complete with an epic playlist, things like Space Truckin', Space Oddity, and of course, Fly Me to the Moon, and yelled, Space Trip! How long would it take to drive to things? Well, crank the tunes, man. We're gonna have a long time to listen to them. But you might ask, just how long? Well, the moon seems like a good first stop. We could go get some cool rocks, put down a flag, and maybe even do some high jumps on the surface. It's a lot easier to jump on the moon than it is on Earth, but more on that later. Okay, so if we're going 60 miles an hour, typical highway speeds, in our space tour bus, and the moon is about just a little under 239,000 miles away,
it would take us almost 6 months to get there.
What?
6 months, and that's with no stops at all.
No stops?
Better hope we packed enough snacks on that
hungry.
space tour bus.
Are we there yet?
What about the sun? 1 AU astronomical unit away, about 93 million miles.
Are we there
Well,
yet?
if we're cruising along at 60 miles an hour, it would only take us 177 years.
No way.
Hey, somebody pass me my sunglasses.
Are we there yet?
Now, what about Mars, the
we there
red
yet?
planet? Depending on where it is in its orbit, it would take us at least 64 and a half years to get to, and typically much longer. Wow. Jupiter, at its closest point, will be 694 years out on our space highway. Saturn more than double that at 1,419 years.
Wow.
To get to Neptune, the outermost major planet, that would be a whopping 5,137 years.
Are we there
And
yet?
that's nearby in our solar system.
What?
It would take 17,123 years to reach the edge of our solar system if we were traveling at a typical highway speed of 60 miles an hour. Talk about far out.
Wow.
This is a quick comparison. Here's how fast light is.
Okay.
If it takes us 177 years to drive to the sun, it only takes light 8 minutes to make the same journey.
Wow.
Not 80, 8. Crazy, right? And how about that 5,000 year drive to Neptune?
Huh?
Light gets there in just over 4 hours.
Zip.
So, to get to the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, which is about 4.24 light years away.
Are we there
Now
yet?
that sounds close, right?
Yeah.
Breaking news. The nearest star is only 4.24 light years away.
So you say, okay, well, I'm going a little slower than light on my rocket ship, and,
Are we there
I'll put
yet?
10 years into it. I can go there and back, right? Well, if we were driving there, it would take us 47.5 million years. Now, anytime people are in the car when I'm driving, they're like, Josh, hit the gas, man. You're driving like a granny.
Hit the gas, man.
So what if we put the hammer down on our space tour bus and went a lot faster?
Go faster.
Say as fast as Voyager 1, a spacecraft we launched back in 1974.
That's more like
It's going to notch over 33,000 miles an hour. Well, it would still take us 77,028 years to get there. And that's the closest star to us. So what about galaxies?
Are we there yet?
The Andromeda Galaxy is our sister galaxy and a member of what's called the Local Group. Hold on to your hats, folks. It's 2.5 million light years away. And it would take us, for perspective, to drive 1 light year is over 11 million years.
Far, far
So
away.
that's not really happening anytime soon. And I can see galaxies through a telescope in my front yard. So just readily accessible stuff that are 100 million light years away, and the observable universe is 93 billion light years across, and it's expanding every second. And that might be bigger.
Far, 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 far away.
So you might say, Josh, I got an idea.
Josh.
What if you put a turbocharger on that space bus? It'll go faster than the speed of light. I mean, if we could go 100 times faster than the speed of light, wouldn't it make things a lot easier? Yeah, but here's the weird thing. Nothing goes faster than the speed of light. And it's pretty hard even to go a fraction of its speed. As you go faster, it takes more and more energy, and you effectively get heavier. It actually can't be done. It's pretty weird in the best of ways, so we'll have to talk about that in another episode. But for now, think of it as the universal speed limit.
License and registration.
So to
please.
put it simply, space is big. But should we just sit down, discouraged, and throw away our dreams of space travel? There's no hope. No, absolutely not. What if we could figure it out?
Oh.
There's a project called Breakthrough Starshot that hopes to use extremely light, tiny spacecraft and accelerate them with an uber powerful laser beam to 25% the speed of light, really screaming fast, to reach Proxima Centauri, that's the closest star to us, in 30 years.
Gee.
And us humans are just getting warmed up. If
Yeah.
you're curious about traveling to the stars, we need all the minds we can get.
Right.
Study harder than you ever have before. Show up early and stay late. Listen to talks. Learn about the stars. Tackle the subjects of math and physics and chemistry, and well, you get the idea. Wouldn't it be awesome to figure this out? Maybe it can't be done, but maybe it can. Time will tell, and you might too. Keep on thinking the big thoughts and keep on being curious. It's a big universe out there. If you have any questions, drop me a note. joshurban@protonmail.com. That's JOSHURBAN@protonmail.com, and I'll answer it on the next episode. Thanks for stopping by the Night Kitchen, and we'll see you next time. Clear skies.